I want to talk about a different type of clutter, one that doesn't necessarily take up physical space, and that is unfinished projects. And
Ugh.
this, for me, is the worst because it's there's always part of my headspace taken up with these incomplete projects. Could you talk to us a little about that?
No, absolutely. I completely agree. And one of the most delicious ways to get, get rid of a project is to abandon it, is to just say, you know what? This is not going to happen. Whether that's like a needlepoint pillow or, a new template for your newsletter list. The thing is, sometimes we just don't want to admit to ourselves that a project is not going to get completed, whether it wasn't as interesting or as fun as we expected, or it's too difficult for us right now, so we've sort of set it up in a way that we can't complete it. And here you really want to be, you want to accept yourself and also expect more from yourself, because sometimes it's absolutely true. We need to push through frustration, feeling stupid, feeling angry because something's hard for us, but it's worth it because in the end we want to do it. And then sometimes a project is just something that really it's just not right for us and we should let it go. And I think, for each of us, those are different things, but there's tremendous relief in letting go of something, especially if there's a lot of stuff associated with it. Like, I talked to somebody who had this whole thing. He was going to learn guitar. He bought the stand. He bought the guitar. He bought the music. And it's like, okay, that's just a fantasy self. He really wasn't doing anything about learning guitar. And it's like, if you want to learn guitar, buying the guitar is the easy part, you know? And
Right.
so, and there are people who go out and buy all the stuff thinking that the
Yeah.
stuff kind of will drive the behavior, and that just is not the case. And so, but getting rid of the guitar, first of all, he gets it off his, out of his house, but also off his conscience. Because you're right, these things like fill our head with kind of all this guilt and remorse and like, oh, I should be working on that, but I'm not. If there's something that you sort of put on your list 6 months ago and you really haven't made any progress toward it, then you really need to step back and say, do I need a teacher? Do I need to take a class? Have I set myself the wrong goal? Have I skipped an important step? Have I been unrealistic about what this entails? I mean, I have a podcast called the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast.
I love the podcast.
Oh, thank you. Well, a lot of people do these 19 for 2019 lists where they list 19 things they want to do in 2019. And one thing that has surprised me is a lot of people have learn a language on their list. I'm like, to me, that's too big for 19 for 2019. That to me would be a whole 19 for 2019 list. Like, find a class, establish a practice, like find a conversation partner, sign up for a newsletter. In that language, I don't know. It's like, I think sometimes we're so excited about something that we become over ambitious. We bite off more than we can chew realistically. And then that becomes a source of like feeling discouraged and frustrated. So maybe it's like dial it back a little bit. Maybe it's not learn guitar. Maybe it's like, I'm just going to learn 3 chords, and then
Right.
maybe then you can do it if it's just the 3 chords, or if it's like, I'm not going to, something like I want to have 100,000 subscribers to my newsletter. It's like, okay, that project maybe is not the project. Maybe we need to pull it back so it's a project that you feel like you get your arms around, because something is so big, it feels like you can't even start, and so it just hangs over your head.